Okay, so now becomes the first challenge of getting this cuboid picked up and moved over to the bullseye, to the yellow, as close as possible. So before we can even get to the bullseye, we got our very first step we have to figure out. How are we going to move this cuboid? So when we work with students and we brainstorm, we try to come up with every single possible way we could do that. And if we were doing First LEGO League, we would do that for every single mission. And then we would start to group the potential ways in which we could build some attachments to solve multiple missions using the same type of attachment. We actually have a video I'll link in the resources for you to check out if you're in the First LEGO League to see how we use computational thinking to break down a First LEGO League board. But in this case, we have the cuboid, right? And we have already done some of this in previous lessons where we had the attachment we built that had the arm go down and capture it. We also have spaces in here. So maybe as opposed to an arm that kind of captures the whole thing, we could use maybe one of these axle pieces and the same kind of thing using that medium motor. Could we create something here where it would lift and pick it up and get it off the ground? Maybe we're just going to push it. So we could either lift it off the ground completely. We could have that arm that could capture it, hold it in place, and then lift like we did before. We could use an axle. So here's that arm that we had used in a previous mission that we know would go over. Maybe I modify this and make something different. Maybe I only want one of these arms with a beam over, but not the full size, so I can easily escape from it if I need to. I could lift it. I could push it. I could even pull it if I wanted to. I could drag it from the side or from the front of my robot. I have a lot of different things that I could do. And so your first step is to figure out how you want to go about trying to move the cuboid. Now, in my case, I've picked something pretty precise. I'm actually using a second color sensor that I have. And you can see here that I've built this little wall, this little interior on my robot you can see right there. And so what I'm going to be doing for this first challenge is I'm going to be pushing it. And so my goal is to have my robot move forward, and hopefully with precise programming to start here, I can get this cuboid captured in my robot like so. And then hopefully that will not take away or mess up my color sensors. That's yet to be tested here. So then I can line follow and look for colors and patterns and then try to reach the bullseye using color sensors and the gyro sensor. So that was my first task when I built these color sensors, was to properly place that to fit within the cuboid. You have a lot of options as well. Medium motor, large motor, sensors, a claw, a picker-upper, a dropper, a pusher, whatever you want to use. So your first task is to come up with your own kind of unique attachment or idea to get this cuboid so that we can move it to the bullseye. So there's your task. I'm going to go ahead and work on my code. And what I'm thinking here is I want to be able to pick up this cuboid, or not pick it up, but to grab it. And once both of my color sensors detect black, then I'm going to kick into my next code, which is going to be to continue to go waiting until I see black, or to drive this distance of 33 inches, which we have done in a previous lesson as well, to get to the second black line, which is over here. So I'm going to be working, I'll show you my code here in a little bit, working to grab the cuboid so I can push it and stop at this second black line. All right, my friends, there it is, and I'm going to go ahead now and segue over to my code in terms of how I plan to achieve this point. All right, my friends, here we go.